What's up, man?
Hey, hey,
Long time no speak.
hey. You're the best. I'm getting set up here. We just getting our kids doing their homework. It's so
Nice.
sunny. So sunny where you are.
So sunny. So sunny. Check it.
Oh,
So we got a one of those Sea-Doo jet ski things,
oh yeah?
and we're riding out into the middle of the lake, and it shut down on us, or on me,
Oh,
rather. And so I'm out in the middle of the lake, and then uh, Fozzie, who's he helps out on the ranch. He came out and to grab me, but then the boat shut down. So we're both out in the middle of the lake, stranded. And keep in mind, obviously, like snow just started to melt here. You know what I mean? And so the water's freezing. I had to swim back to shore.
how many yards are we talking? Did you swim?
Maybe quarter mile.
Oh, come on. A quarter mile in freezing cold water?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Are you okay?
I'm good. You know me, I love to do like the cold plunge type stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So real
You
quick,
keep glitching. Is that me
I
or is that you?
am I glitching? Am I
Yeah.
glitching? Here, maybe let me just see if this works. Tell me if it gets better if I
Or is
go
it me?
inside. Tell me if it
Okay.
gets better if I go inside. Does it seem better?
Yeah, it hasn't glitched yet. I think it does.
Okay. Man, I look so crappy. Um,
Not possible.
so I wanted to maybe talk about leadership. I woke up today with it on my mind. What does it take to be a good leader? And also, what does it take to be someone that someone wants to follow?
Whoa.
So maybe you and I could just have a candid conversation about what it looks like to be a good leader, um, and so on and so forth.
Sounds good to me. Can
Um,
I start with a
we,
question, or do you want
yeah,
to?
absolutely, yeah.
What do you think makes a leader? What would be your definition of a leader?
A definition of a leader. Honestly, I had a really good definition. I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna kind of uh, make one up as I go right now because I forget. But Craig Groeschel had a really good definition of a leader that I wish I remembered off the top of my head, but I don't. But I think being a leader is harnessing. I think it was something like harnessing human energy to make a change.
Wow.
That's what that's what that's what Craig Groeschel's definition I think was, and I thought that was really cool.
I like that a lot. I love how Jesus says, I have not come to be served, but I've come to serve and give my life away. And I feel like in so many ways, leadership is seen as power, leadership is seen as sway and influence, but so paradoxical, so Jesus, that leadership is first about like serving people, just
Mm-hmm.
adding value to people. And that's different, maybe different than the status quo of our culture in terms of what a leader should be, you know?
Right. And it goes back to what we were talking about of like being someone that people want to follow. I mean, being a good leader and being a leader are different things. I think, um, yeah, just I think someone who adds value to people, someone who encourages the people around them, someone who uplifts, encourages, and leads by example is an example of a really good leader.
Yeah, I love that. My dad used to say, like, for preachers, which I'm a preacher, he's like, preach what you live. Don't try to live what you preach. And I feel like maybe there's a little bit of a delta right now in our culture. We all want to say what people should do, but the question is, what am I living, and what's true to me? And I think that gives you the substructure or the platform to be a leader because what you're saying, you've already lived it. What do you think?
That's great. Yeah, preaching what you live and not living what you preach. That's what you
Yeah.
said?
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. That's really good because then you're not you're not telling anyone to do anything that you're not already doing, which is probably a good leadership tool.
Very good. Can I talk about kind of the strengths that I think you have as a leader and ask you a couple of questions about that?
Please, I would love that.
Um, I think one of the greatest strengths you have, and so oftentimes people don't totally see you the leader. They see you the entertainer. They see you the gifted personality, the singer, but they don't get the privilege of seeing what I get to see, which is you leading a very significant and large team, a team that's counting on you, whether it's creating content or a documentary or traveling the world. I've seen you in meetings, and I think one of your greatest assets as a leader is authenticity and transparency. Why did you develop that? Were you intentional about that? Is that something you wanted to be as a leader?
Authenticity. I think, yeah, I think I always was really frustrated by people who were um, kind of had this maybe persona or fakeness or just I don't know. I think I've always just been drawn to authenticity. And I think a lot of the church community and church culture has been a huge turnoff for me growing up, and just kind of this attitude of maybe show your best, hide the rest type of thing, and which is really prevalent in today's culture in general. But I think, yeah, having the ability to, have team meetings, express our concerns, and really be transparent with, what we need as a team, what we need as individuals on the team, and so on and so forth, and making people feel comfortable enough to express what they need. Because if you're in a culture that, you're the boss and people are kind of scared of you, they won't feel confident enough to express their needs. So I think being a good leader is someone who makes your team feel like they can express what they need as well.
Wow. In that regard, I'll ask you a big question. If you could wave a magic wand and give every leader one characteristic that you think is one of, if not the most important, all leaders right now in the world, we're just having fun. What's the magic wand that you wave in terms of, is it joy? Is it faithfulness? Is it self-control? What's the characteristic you think is absolutely essential for leaders worldwide?
The characteristic that I think is essential for leaders worldwide, I would say, to pick one, if I had to choose one right now, it would be um, probably, I'd say, honoring, honoring of, I'd say honoring of those who are around you, honoring of, people on all payrolls of all sort of, of all kinds, just honoring everybody from, the cleaning staff to, management, to just every level, just making sure that the honor is consistent and that you're not belittling anybody and everybody feels as though they're being treated the same.
That is the answer I truly was banking on, because I think, let's just talk about this for a second. We're talking about leadership and the importance of leadership. And John Maxwell once said, everything rises and falls on leadership. You just expressed that honor may very well be the most important aspect for leaders, particularly in 2020. Can you unpack a little bit more, like, why is honor so important to you, and why is it so important to a leader?
Well, I can just speak firsthand and say that I appreciate being honored. And
Yeah.
so I think a lot of in the Bible, it talks about loving your neighbor as yourself. And so I think as a person who appreciates when people honor me, um, I want to do my best to make people feel honored as well.
Which is the ultimate. It adds dignity. Last night I watched the Mr. Rogers documentary. Bro, he was a leader who just honored everyone. He sang that song, I love you just the way you are. Um, and his whole mantra was that everyone should be treated um, for who they are and never less than who they are. And I can honestly say, Justin, I see you with the team, and I have seen you over the years, watching you for a decade, learn and embrace and move towards this lifestyle of honor. And I just think, I just want you to articulate it more because it is so significant. It has impacted me almost more than anything to watch you, because you can't honor someone without humility. You know, implicit in honor is humility. It's thinking beyond yourself and honoring others. Can you speak to what you think humility is and what it looks like?
Humility. Humility. What is humility? Ooh, I think you said something else a second ago. Just, I think one thing is just thinking of others before thinking of yourself. I'd love to look up the definition of humility. I think there's a lot of characteristics about being humble, is, being meek, being, someone who has the ability to accept responsibility when they make a mistake. Humility is when you see others' value when they contribute to something of success. Humility is something that um, you know, I've learned through my relationship with Jesus. And I think, learning about the fact that no matter how much I work hard at all the stuff that I've been given, my life is a gift, and I've been given all of these things, and I work hard at my craft and I put in effort. And a lot of people would say, well, you did it, it was you. But I know that I didn't I wasn't I didn't plan my birth. I didn't plan to be here. It was a gift from the beginning. And so uh, with that being said, I think that's humility on its own, knowing that I didn't ask to be here. This life is a gift. And every day when I go to my creator and I'm like, yo, you created me. Thank you for, life. Thank you for the trees. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for the sky. Thank you for the lake. Thank you for my home. Thank you. I think out of that, you start to really learn what humility really is. That's my answer.
It's a good answer because you're saying
Thank
one
you.
of the hallmarks of humility is gratitude, right? It's
Right.
gratefulness.
Yeah. It's
You
great.
believe life is a gift. That's how you
I
see it.
do. Yeah. Yep.
So has that changed? Because I've watched you, and the world's watched you. You don't have to make the adjustments you've made. You don't. You actually don't. But you have, and you have become the person that you are, and it's been astounding. Why?
Thank you.
Why have you changed so much? Why have you gotten so intentional about relationships and honor and humility and gratitude? I mean, we've all watched it, but the
Yeah.
question is why, you know?
I think that I've experienced so much in my short life. I've seen so much. I've experienced a lot of things that a lot of people would look and think that would bring such fulfillment, whether it's things and cars and clothes and money and stuff and girls. And I've had a lot of stuff that really left me empty. And so I really started looking to find fulfillment. And I realized that the things that I thought were going to continue to give me that fulfillment, that still to this day, I feel these lies that say, hey, well, if you just get this, you'll be happy. And if you get this, you'll be happy. I think I really took a deep dive at the condition of my soul, and I was just hurting and broken. And so I asked God, I said, if you're real, I need you to kind of show me. And I think it says in the Bible, if you seek me, you will find me. And rather than seeking after these other things, I just kind of started looking to God. And he showed me, that I was worth saving, that I was worth dying on the cross for, that my life was worth, that I was worthy. And it had nothing to do with what I did, because at that time I was such a hurting, broken person who was doing a lot of bad things, and so to me, I felt like, what did I do to deserve, the Creator's love? And so he just, showed me, you're worth it. I died for you. I love you. I forgive you. You're redeemed. You're mine. I love you. I'm obsessed with you. And that is what changed my heart, to know that, well, if this guy loves me through all of my stuff, it started to show me that through all the people in humanity, everyone has stuff, everyone has a sinful nature, it allowed me to start looking, and really seeing the best in people and learning to love people the way God loves, because, we start making up what we feel love is according to our standards, but God has his own standard. And so I just started, as I continue to seek him, he just keeps showing me his standard of love and what love is. And that's patience and kindness and, all these things that are his character and that never change. So that's something that has really changed my outlook on humility, how I see the world, how I love people, how I lead. And yeah, and it's given me such a cool perspective to be able to really look and know that the best is still yet to come.
Is that is this kind of when the transition from just entertainer to leader started to happen? Because that transition's kind of been apparent to so many people. You went from, hey, I'm a singer, I'm an entertainer, I'm a personality, to I'd like to really help people in their spiritual journey, in their life. And in that regard, you're a leader. Even the album Changes, it's a lot of fun, but it's promoting that life is changing in seasons. And so is this when you became a leader? I mean, was that intentional on your part?
I was talking to Harry Hudson today.
Well,
Harry.
yeah.
He's such a good guy. And we were just talking. He said something really cool about he wants to use his platform to help people, and I'm in the same boat. And I think he was saying how music is his passion, but people are his purpose.
Wow.
Um, and so he's like, I'm using my passion, which is music. Music isn't the purpose, it's the passion, which leads me to be able to, help people, which is the purpose. And so I thought that was a really cool way to look at it.
That is a great way to say it. Harry,
And he
love you,
also
brother.
went in to say that his pain, which, obviously we know he got cancer and he's had a lot of other traumatic things happen in his life, is what led him to the end of himself, to realize, what am I going to leave? What's the mark that I'm going to leave in this world? And so he's like, he started looking for his purpose, and he realized that he's been given this extreme talent, and music is a way that he's able to use his gifts to really fulfill his purpose, which is going to give him the most fulfillment in life, I think.
And what's your take on pain and its role in your life? And here's Harry saying it brought him to the end of himself.
Yeah.
Do you feel similarly about pain?
Yeah, I think pain is um, It's funny because I took over your sermon when I was in LA, and basically it was saying how power, God, He's made strong in our weakness. God. What is it?
His power is made perfect in our weakness.
Perfect in our weakness. So when we're weak, He's strong, and it allows us to see His goodness and His faithfulness and His character in a time where we feel weak, and that's kind of where I'm at. That
We, which we just got to stop for a moment, and this goes beyond leadership. But what you're saying is, you believe pain can propel us to unawareness of our need for a creator. Is that kind of what you're saying?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's like when we come to the end of ourselves, we realize that there's nothing we can muster up to really, I guess, like I couldn't find it in myself to like heal myself or fix myself or be better, because I just felt myself continuing to disappoint people, disappoint myself, and I was like, nobody's nobody here on earth is able to, I always feel misunderstood. I always feel like people don't really get to see but then I'm like, well, God, the creator of heaven and earth, who designed me, knows me. I mean, He knows me. He created me. He knows the numbers of hairs on my head. And who's going to honor, or like, who's going to care more than our creator?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think probably some of the misnomer in faith circles, but particularly in what relates to Jesus, is this concept that Christianity, the worship of Jesus and the pursuit of Jesus, is that somehow Christianity is like a how to be pain free or how to avoid pain or how to be perfect so you never experience pain. When in reality, Jesus was very familiar with pain
Mm-hmm.
and moved towards pain. And I wonder sometimes as leaders or just as humans, if we're constantly trying to avoid pain, if if that's the goal of life, because I don't think it is.
Mm-hmm. I could agree with you. Um, and I think avoiding pain, yeah, that can't be, because, you know, um, going back to like scripture and whatnot, going back to like when Jesus healed Lazarus or raised Lazarus from the dead, knew He was gonna raise him from the dead, but was crying when He found out that he had passed, because He was sad for probably Mary and Martha,
Yep.
and right, and He was sad. He was in pain, and would you say that that was kind of like the point of why He said, like it says, Jesus wept?
Yep. He's in pain. And so if that's the case, yeah, we ought to be people who someone said sadness. Yesterday they said this to me. Sadness is not wrong and sadness is not bad. And I was like, man, that's profound. Meaning empathy and experiencing people's pain is not only a massive part of leadership, it's a part of being human, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How important is it to you to be someone of influence who experiences empathy?
I can say that it's very it's a challenge. It's a challenge because of
Yeah.
all the things and all of the accolades and all the people, just all of you know, um, the distractions. I think
Yeah.
there's so many distractions, and then with social media and with you know with I just think it's easy to just kind of like distracting yourself from it, and rather than going there, because it seems easier sometimes, to just keep the TV on and not think about something, and not, and that's something I'm working on every day, with my wife, especially because she's the most important person in my life. Just being aware of her needs and her pains and her hurts and her desires and her, insecurities, because, you know, I'm just, I'm learning every day what it means to be a husband and to, you know, really have empathy with her and for her, because first of all, I don't know what it's like to be a woman. She is such a strong, incredible woman. She's faces so much ridicule and judgment and all these sort of things, just for being in the position she's in. And there's often times where I've been dealing with what I've been dealing with for years, for, over 10 years. And a lot of it I've come accustomed to and just kind of learned how to deal with it. And it's a lot, it's just a lot on her plate right now. So one thing I'm kind of struggling with is, having that empathy and understanding that, I don't know what that same looks like. I don't know what that feels like. And just try to, because in doing that and feeling that empathy towards her and feeling her pain, and we actually become closer. That's actually a really good bridge builder and a good way for us to connect, you know?
Totally. And talk for a second about empathy. Empathy is not sympathy, right? Sympathy is like, oh, I feel bad or sad for that person. Empathy is like being there with the person in their pain, which is what Jesus did. We believe this is essential leadership. It's like being present with someone in their pain, using your amazing wife, Haley, who's an angel sent from God from the heavens. Um, you're talking about not sympathy, not just feeling sad for your wife, but sitting there with her in her challenges, difficulties, and pains. Correct?
Yes. And as a new husband, that can be really challenging.
Because you
Especially
want to fix her too, right? Real fast.
a fixer. You want to fix the problem. Why are you so frustrated right now? Why are you feeling like this? You're ruining my day because you're in a bad mood. You know what I mean? And it's like, that makes her, doesn't make her feel good. That makes her feel like she's not seen, like she's not understood. And everybody wants to feel seen and understood. Um, so it's so easy to be like, why are you feeling like this? Like, just be grateful for what we have. You know what I mean? And so I think for me as a husband, I'm just want to, I don't want to distract myself. I want to feel that pain with her and for her so that we can be closer and I can understand where she's at.
That's so, and it speaks to, I know what you and I share in terms of values in leaders. And one of the great values in leaders that we see in our favorite leader, who's Jesus, who we both admire so much and love, is Jesus was constantly kind of putting himself in the pain of others. And he was staying there. He was just in it with them. And to your point about Mary and Martha, Jesus is just, he's just there in that verse crying with Mary and Martha because their brother's dead and he's gone. And he's not hurried, he's not rushed, he's not trying to be a big deal or productive or progressive or innovative. He's there. And I wonder if today in leadership we need a little less like answers and a
Mhm.
little more listening and loving, you know?
I could agree with that.
And I think you're modeling that though, and you're walking through it with Haley and the team that you lead. And I'm watching it, and I think how we've defined awesome leaders in the past maybe was guys or gals who were like really had all the answers and knew what to do and when. But I just wonder if there's an element of leadership that maybe is gonna be on the rise in the world, which is that humble, honoring, kind, listening, loving leader that um, we see a lot in Jesus. Not that he's without strength, obviously.
I think when I was young, I would look up to people who, because I was immature and I didn't really, I was just immature and I didn't realize what it meant to be a good leader. And I didn't know those qualities really. Um, and so I would look up to these people who I just thought were cool, and I would see these cool aspects of them because they really are cool people. Like they're just like, they have this edge and this coolness about them. But then, you look at their lifestyle and it's like, you know, they might be disrespectful or have this lifestyle where, you know, their family, their friends don't really respect them and yada yada yada, but you respect their either their craft, you know, or their ability to, you know, use their gift in a way that's like, whoa, this person's so talented, and you look up to this person. But then there's these areas in their life where you're like, man, uh, for a kid, you don't you're so in awe of the thing that they're so good of and the gift that you kind of like put that other stuff second. Like, well, this is cool, but like the oh, who cares about his ability to be a husband? Who cares about, you know? And that probably goes to a set. You can say that about a lot of things. I mean, even going to this like Michael Jordan documentary. You know what I mean? And it's like this guy's a killer basketball player, and like people love the fact that he's an incredible basketball player,
Right.
and he's, you know, this like dominant force on the court. But like, you know, I just want to be someone who cares about, you know, what legacy is this person leaving with, you know, their family and their friends, because I think that's, as I get older, I realize the importance of that. I realize the importance of, you know, the impact and the impact in the relationships that I leave behind. That really is the most special, I think.
And I bet I can guess, I could be wrong, but I bet I can guess one of your favorite parts of the whole documentary of The Last Dance, of course, we're talking about, is MJ's relationship to a couple of the security guards
Yeah,
in his life.
yeah,
Was it?
yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, because I can totally relate with that.
Yeah. He decided to. Those were his brothers, and he loves them. And I've seen you do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
Here's a statement I wanna say, and then I want your reaction to it. Brian Houston says this: "Beware of the leader who kicks down and kisses up."
Kicks down.
Kicks down and kisses up. Beware of the leader who kicks down and kisses up.
I don't understand it.
So, okay, yeah, okay, all right. So, and down and up are just loose terms that are crude, but meaning you are disrespectful and dishonoring to people who are quote unquote in the organization beneath you or below you, and then you only kiss up to those over you.
That makes sense. I think that is it's it just I guess it could just say it makes me sad, you know,
Wow.
that because you got a lot of young people or the people who might look up to the gifts that you have as a leader, you know, the up the mantle or the level of success that you have or whatever. Like, you got these people who so badly want to be in their position, and they don't, and so when you do that, I think, and to be honest, like, I've been in a place, especially when I was really young, of just not understanding, going back to like understanding the value of leaving, you know, what is the mark I'm leaving as a leader and as a friend and as a boss and as a, because that stuff matters, you know, it matters more than the actual thing you're doing, because people, we're doing it for people at the end of the day. People is the mission, people is the goal. And so, like, there was a time where I was so just consumed in getting and achieving and next thing, that, you know, it wasn't maybe that I was intentionally being a jerk, but I just, you know, people were just not the main priority. It was about me getting to the next step, showing people how successful I can be, how cool I can be, you know. And so I can just say firsthand that that's not the way to go. And, you know, you're going to feel, you get to this place where just no one respects you. No one is really wants to be around you, and they can't wait to get out of your presence, and they can't wait to, You know, that's I don't want to be that kind of person. I want to be a person who can't wait to be around Justin. He just gives me so much life. He enables me to be the best version of me. When I'm around Justin, I feel encouraged, empowered, loved, respected, honored. That's the type of leader I want to be, and I think that's the kind of dad and brother and person I want to be. We do have to go? Yeah. Okay. I have to
This was
go.
amazing.
I love you.
I love
Thank you.
you. Thank you for sharing these nuggets, man. It means the world. Let's do this again. I
I
love
really want
this.
to be that person.
Me
I want to
too.
continue to be that person. Let's keep being those leaders.
That's leadership is adding value to people, and that's what we're going to keep doing.
Can you say a quick prayer before we bounce?
Love to. God, thank you so much for the privilege and honor it is to have influence in anyone's life. Thank you for the platform of leadership, and God, it's such a sacred thing to Justin and I, and we just thank you. We're so privileged and so honored to get to encourage people. And I just think of people right now, God, you know, people who are watching this, who are in really, really difficult situations, who are going through so much pain and loss and confusion. God, we pray you'd be near to them. They'd sense your love, your grace, and your goodness. Lord, your reality in their room, in their space, wherever they are right now in the world. Bless the rest of our minutes and our days together. Thank you for your favor and protection over Justin and Haley. Thank you for their leadership in life. In Jesus' name,
In
amen.
Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you. Love you.
I love you so much.
Okay, talk to you.
Love you, Hales. Bye.
Peace.